The topic I really want to talk about, though, is not the insanity that passes for the Democrat Party, but an article I read this morning from the man who created the 2008 market collapse, George Soros. Now, I say that not with a degree of chagrin. Many people believe it was Soros, the money changer in the temple, who caused the '08 collapse, who is now warning that it's '08 all over again. And he said that there's a crisis in global markets that echoes 2008, and that trillions of dollars in funds have disappeared and have been lost over the last few days. This is probably the most important topic, given that no matter which side of the aisle you're on, money is money. And if we do have another collapse, which could happen, look at China right now, we have to ask ourselves, why is it happening all of a sudden? As Obama's term winds down, he's doing it again. Who's he? Soros. Many people believe that it was George Soros who manipulated the markets along with others and caused the collapse, that caused the upheaval in American politics, that gave people the idea that Bush was a disaster, which he was, and we will try anybody, even an unknown guy from Chicago as president, who seemed to be honest. Look at how that worked out. However, I want to remind you that it wasn't George Soros alone. And I have to refer back to 2 books ago, Trickle Up Poverty. I'm not selling a book. I am presenting ideas. It's important you understand what I'm about to say to you. Elimination of the uptick rule was initiated by a Republican named Christopher Cox. It's in my book, Trickle Up Poverty, right? In the book, I referred to the fact that it was a Republican named Christopher Cox who eliminated an important rule which enabled the stock market crash in '08. You see, Cox eliminated the so-called uptick rule. What's the uptick rule? Soros was one of the people who lobbied Cox to change the rule. The uptick rule said that if a stock is sold short, it can't be sold short again until shares of the stock have been purchased and its price goes up. And by eliminating the uptick rule, Republican Christopher Cox and his Confederates made it possible to sell any stock short over and over and over again without its having to be bought at all, and its price increased after every short sale. So what that means is that Soros and his anti-American cronies could then drive the stock market down with nothing to impede its decline. It was the final straw, the reason the market was able to crash as it did, with nothing to stop its downturn. Now, George Soros is the issue. You have to ask yourself, why would George Soros give this interview on the market all of a sudden, saying that global markets are facing a crisis, investors have to be cautious? This is the fox in the henhouse situation as far as I'm concerned. And people's comments on the article are very interesting. Someone wrote and said, you can bet Soros is playing the currency markets. Experts think Russia's currency has bottomed or nearly bottomed, that it'll gain 20% or more in 2016. And they're betting that Soros will put his money into the ruble. And someone said, bad prediction, Mr. Soros. With all due respect, Obama says he's fixed the U.S. and global economy, and everything is rosy now. His final SOTU address intends to reiterate that and describe how the progressives have it all back under control now after Bush messed everything up. Another one wrote, why is this devil still in America? And things like that. But the fact is, nobody should trust George Soros, in my estimation. I believe he's one of the most dangerous people in modern American history, in fact, in modern world history, who has put his profits above every other consideration. Now, in that, he is not alone, but he has more power in doing that than most people on earth. He was the man who almost broke the British pound by betting against it and making $1 billion. He bet against the Malaysian currency, drove the currency to near bankruptcy levels. He set off a storm of Muslim anti-Semitism in an otherwise neutral nation. He's done some very dangerous things on the planet. And now he's giving a speech, an interview rather, which says that it's 2008 all over again.